Hello, how y'all doing? This is the cheap properties update. Now, in my playlist, I've made a video about this already. The cheapest properties in the United States, what states to avoid, and so on. Now, that list still stands. Okay, if you're on Skid Row or if you're living out of your car, what does it mean? You're po. You're not poor, you're po. That's what that means. You're po. You cannot afford anything in the area where you're living. That's what that means. You got to be real. What is it? If you live out of your car, that means you don't have any money. You might have a job, but it means you don't have any money. And you cannot afford whatever area you are living in, you cannot afford it. Okay, so I've already made a video on the cheapest states in America. Now that, like I said, that video still stands. I'm going to reiterate it. Avoid the northeastern states, avoid Washington, D.C., avoid New York, Pennsylvania, avoid certain parts of Florida like Miami, avoid Nevada, certain parts of Nevada, totally avoid California. You can probably need to avoid Washington State, Oregon, the whole Amazon area, okay? You have to avoid certain parts of Texas. Actually, western Texas has a lot of cheap land. You can, in certain parts of Florida, you can buy a lot for $15K. Now, I'm not big on mortgages. I don't like mortgages. I don't believe in mortgages. But if you get in the disability check, or you and your husband are getting some type of fixed income check, you can go to the bank and say, how much do I qualify for? They'll say, okay, you qualify for $25K. And believe it or not, you can find a house. You may have to do some repairs, but you can find a reasonable lot for $25K. Now, in Virginia, the southwestern part of Virginia, the middle to southwestern part of Virginia, there are a lot of properties under $50K. In fact, there are a lot of properties under $25K. Some of them have a dilapidated house on them, and some land which has, plenty of room for you to grow vegetables and fruit and grapevines, etc. Ditto for West Virginia. West Virginia has plenty of properties under $35K, and in pretty decent condition too. The northern part of North Carolina has some properties, the cheap properties. Ohio, Central Ohio, surprisingly, you can find a lot of properties under $15K. And also cities like Chicago, you go on the outskirts of Chicago, you can find some cheap properties. Detroit has all kinds of dirt cheap properties. You can buy. Let's see, like I said, avoid California at all possible costs. I'm not racist, I'm real. You're not going to get, if you're on Skid Row in California, you're not going to get any housing. You're not going to get a housing if you're an American in California. You're only going to get housing if you're illegal. Okay, I'm not racist, I'm real. I don't care if the house costs $3,000 a month to rent. The only people who get it and who the government's going to subsidize are the illegals. If you're an American citizen, whether you white or black, you're not going to get it. The United States government is not going to subsidize you. You're not going to get Section 8, Section 10, or whatever. You're only going to get a subsidized apartment. That is everywhere around the United States, is if you are illegal. You're not going to get it if you're an American citizen. That's why you see a lot of American citizens handicapped too, elderly too. They living out of the car, or they living on the street. And you know what? We should not even allow that. But that's real. Okay, to continue, like I said, West Texas has some cheap property, and all you have to do, the best thing to do is to get a state map. Just Google a county map of such and such a state, and you'll get something like this. See, you see this map? Okay, you get something like that. Now, you'll need to do that when you're doing your research. It's going to take you a long time to do research when you decide what state you're going to live in. I mean, obviously, you got to make some decisions whether you want to live in Kentucky or Ohio. But you go to such and such a county, and for example, let's use Kentucky. You go to such and such a county, just say real estate under $50K in such and such county, Kentucky. And you'll come up with a list. And you do the same thing per county, each county. Okay, you do the same thing in Virginia, the same thing in West Virginia, the same thing in North Carolina. You have to go per county, because some counties have more expensive properties than others. So you have to go per county. So I urge you to get a county map. You can go to the library, get it free, just download it on Google. Okay, now there is a fire right now in California. I don't understand why people on Skid Row are not moving. You're just sitting there breathing all of that toxic air because of the fires in California. And you're not moving. You're not moving to the right, nor are you moving to the left. You're just sitting there doing nothing. You know what? When you're poor, you can't afford to sit. You know what? The Bible says, early in the morning will I praise thee. We got to get up early in the morning and figure out how to get out of this poverty. And you don't have the luxury of sitting there on Skid Row and doing nothing every cotton picking day. You got to move. You got to move to the right, or you got to move to the left. And all my friends on Skid Row, y'all not moving. All this toxic air is coming from earthquakes and fires in California. You just still sitting there, sitting on your butt doing nothing. Instead of going to, buying you some land for $45 from Alabama or even Ohio. Ohio costs you $145 to buy a lot or a dilapidated home, but you just sitting there doing nothing. Okay? Now, this is a cheap property update. Have a nice day.